Hello and welcome back to Gen Ed. Today we will talk about history of alchemy during the 12,000 BCE to 200 BCE. Now, the content is significant of studies, research questions, review related literatures, analyzations, and then the conclusion itself. Significant of studies, since it is hard to study or even know what is alchemy, this study is to re-explore about alchemy, occasions, and identify the alchemists on those times during the 12,000 BCE to 300 BCE. Research question: tell us about alchemy. Tell us about the history of alchemy. So we will basically say the history of alchemy during the ancient period. What is alchemy? It's the art of transformation, changing of one thing to another. Traditional practice, alchemist practice mixing various metals to make a philosopher's stone. Now we won't be tackling about philosopher's stone now, but in the future we will make a separate topic on that. The deriving of Arabic phrase means alchemia, means the land of Chem. Chem I will discuss in a while. Well, concept of transmutation, since alchemy is more on the transmutation, transforming to one another thing to another. So the transforming metals is called transform. Also, an art of dyeing and fabrics. Dyeing of fabrics is colors, more on the color theory there. Tinting glass and gemstones, changing colors and textiles. This is the concept at the ancient times. More on the colors, dyeing, and then the color textures at first. Now, the history of alchemy started. It's said to be started at 12,000 years ago. It's not alchemist called Zeptepi, an ancient meaning first time when the divine being arrived and settled in Egypt. They said they exhibit advantage in spiritual technology, eluded and transformed matters. They practice in Hormanos temple hidden near the Nile River. Now, the chem, as in alchem, means it's fertile black soil which found in Nile River. During the 300 BCE, Egyptian master already mastered the craft of goldsmith. Now, in 1500 BCE, gold, copper are now pure 99% purity. How the alchemists do. Now, on this front, which skills at alchemist process as extraction, also on essential oil from plants, dyeing and of glass tinting, and fermentation of fruit juices, honey, and other malt beverages. It's also the time where Thoth, the god Thoth, is the father of alchemy. He said, father of alchemy in spiritual science. Now, he's also the father of mathematics and agriculture. In 400 BCE, the historian Herodotus encountered two pillars. One pillar is pure gold, one pillar is pure emerald. Now, as he called it, the pillars of Hermes. Now, we will talk about the Hermes and Thoth. It's just one in in the future studies. Now, the pillars of Hermes is said to be the legend. It's also said to be a legend. Thoth preserved his canon of writing inside the great pillars, as they said. One of the pillars was discovered outside the city of Heliopolis. Others were near the Thebes. It's said to be containing more than 300 scrolls. Now, these scrolls are more on the alchemic scrolls, as they said. Now, in China, 500 BCE, where Lao Tse is there, a Hermes-like sage. They call it Lao Tse. His teaching is more on the inner personal alchemy, which focus on transformation on the practitioner's life force. The life force they call it qi. In Chinese, the Chinese attempting to transmute base metals to gold, which counters to the Westerners also, especially the Egyptians. Now but sooner or later they focus on extending life, on this searching for the golden elixir of immortality. Now, on history of alchemy in Greece, in 323 to 246 BCE, Manetho wrote many books about alchemy. His name, Manetho, is the gift of thought. Thought is the Egyptian god of knowledge. Now, he also interpret ancient scrolls, or exhibit more on thoughts, alchemistos. Next is Bolos of Mendes. He was a sorcerer, a follower of Democritus, who also a philosopher, an alchemist, an astrologer. He also performed magic in those times. He wrote 4 branches of practice experimenting gold, silver, and precious stones and dyes. Now next is Ostanes of Mendes. Same year, is also the first alchemist who identified the elixir of life, where divine water cure Melades, is the teacher of Pseudo-Democritus. Pseudo-Democritus is the personal alchemist of Alexander the Great. In 250 BCE, Zosimus is from Arabian, called the universal wise man, with brilliant flame. He wrote a 28-volume alchemy encyclopedia, the Book of Image, commentary of astrology, magic, and theology. Now, in 200 BCE, we're going to the century era. Maria Prophetista of Alexandria. She discovered in some texts, some did agree, some didn't. They agreed. She discovered the hydrochloric acid, also famous on Mary's block, which she formed by fusing sulfur with lead copper alloy. Now we will go to the analysis. Even those times, the ancient times, they started to do experimentations, as they call it. It's not even called alchemy. You see how even in ancient times, people try to think, try to have a knowledge on this, have an knowledge and wisdom on this Gnostic things. Even when I say Gnostics, Zosimus is a Gnostic. Okay? Mostly on even the Greek philosophers are modern Gnostics. No, there's no. We start here, and then it evolved, and even until now, alchemy is just a fiction. We never learned this at school. But it's nice to learn this stuff because it's something hidden, something we research. Why we call it research? There are hidden, but we research to study more. from here. Now to conclude this part, conclusion is it's just a this topic is just a small fraction of a more larger analyzation from there. It's just a history. We just talk about the history itself, but there is more. Next topic we will talk about on the century era, more on the to the from new alchemists. See you there. See you next time and study well. Thank you.